As part of the initiative to bring increased global attention to climate change and environmental destruction on the Tibetan plateau, the exiled Tibetan government, known officially as Central Tibetan Administration's Tibet Policy Institute, and 5 Tibetan NGOs organized the Climate Run for Tibet today. Earlier this month, CTA unrolled its 5-point call to action ahead of the COP25 UN Climate Summit that is to be held in Spain in December. Local Tibetans and tourists visiting Dharamshala joined in on the grassroots community program that began from the CTA compound and ended 6 kilometers away at the main square of McLeodganj.
Over the past couple months, we've had a few guest lectures and many lessons on how climate change and global warming are affecting the glacial ice, among other things, on the Tibetan plateau, and just kind of the greater implications of how many people that will affect globally, upwards in the 2 billion range. And I think especially in the United States and other Western countries, like you said, it is a very kind of undiscussed or not very common talking point.
A program like this, which is open to the public, is very important so that the grassroots can also be aware of situation inside Tibet and get a chance to support what's happening in Tibet and show their support against environmental destruction in Tibet. We are going to have another climate conference in Spain very soon, right? In these forums, I think if we make the international community aware, international governments should get the information and they will bring forth this discussion in the international forum. That's very important. And China being a global power, they need to also keep a global image. So I think for them also it's important to have a proper global image.
The biggest reason that I'm participating for this climate run is because I'm worried about our future generation. Because if we keep on continuing destroying this environment, then nothing would be left for our future generation.
Spearheading the campaign, Tibetan President Dr. Lobsang Singye urged global stakeholders and international community to take stock of the importance of Tibet's fragile environment and its effects on global climate, strengthen climate change research on the Tibetan plateau, and also urged China to respect the traditional knowledge and way of life in Tibet and strictly regulate urbanization and tourism inside occupied Tibet.
At the moment, China is making progress on environment issues. But the problem is they are not doing enough in Tibet. So what we are trying to do is we are trying to highlight the environment issues that are prevailing inside Tibet so that the Chinese government and the leadership will be aware of the issue, and we are pressuring them to do something because I think some of the leadership are willing to do something, but a lot of the leadership are again ignoring the real ground realities. So I'm sure they will be able to be pressurized or they will recognize certain issues that we raise.
Decades of ignoring ground reality and rampant exploitation of the resources by China has resulted in floods, landslides and other natural calamities that are now happening on an increased frequency in Tibet. While the global climate change discourse is rapidly gaining prime-time slots in the mainstream discussions, climate change in Tibet is relatively an under-discussed issue with regards to its importance to global climate. Studies say that Tibet's temperature over the past 50 years has increased by 1.3 degrees Celsius, which is 3 times the global average, meaning the permafrosts and glacial ice in Tibet is melting at a much higher rate. Scientists say that many of Tibet's glaciers will melt away by 2050 and the rivers that sustain over 1.5 billion people in Asia will dry away.